Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Once you get on that rugby field, you're just 15 brothers or sisters all together working towards one goal. We had to do the laundry for our room and like our senpais.
Oh, really?
Yes, and like have no expectations on what Japan is like and what you should be like as well, and just take everything as it is.
Hello, this is Tokyo State of Mind, a podcast to amplify passionate voices of Japan. Every week we share with you inspiring stories of people working, studying, and living in Japan. So now I want to introduce you today's guest. Is a very bright and energetic person, Japanese-Australian guy, a rugby player, who's gonna share his insight on hierarchical system of Japan. So, hi Sean.
Hey Katya, thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you for coming today.
No problem.
And before the interview, I was scrolling down your Instagram profile, and I saw there a video when you were scoring a goal during the rugby game. That was so cool. I was like, wow, this guy is so fast and in very good shape. That's so amazing. Because I have an image, I don't really know much about rugby, but I have an image it's like American football. You have to be strong. You have to push people. I don't know, faster.
Something like that.
That's so cool. So tell me, please, your story. How did you get to Japan? How did it start?
Okay, so, well, ever since I was younger, I guess in high school when I started playing rugby, I always thought that I wanted to come to Japan and play rugby. And then some people just reached out to me and I ended up here. So.
Wow. So how old were you when you...
So that was when I was 20 years old is when I came here. So 2 years ago.
I see. Wow. And you're you said that you're half Japanese, half Chinese, right?
Yep.
And you have some background about Japanese culture, about maybe in your family you were raised as Japanese or more Australian?
So when I was younger, we were very Japanese, Chinese culture centered. So we used to always watch anime and always talk in Japanese and Chinese. And then as I grew up, that kind of, I guess the Australian culture and the influence grew on me. And I wanted to be more like the people around me, I guess, and become more Australian. So talk English and act this way. Yeah.
So when you come to Japan, did you have a cultural shock?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Tell me more about that.
Well, it's so much different to what you see in anime, or I think everyone creates this image of Japan, I guess, of what they think that it's just sushi and people bowing and stuff like that. But when I came here, especially in a university setting, living in a dorm, I was blown away, really, because all I had known from Japanese culture was, I guess, from my mom and just from TV. And when I came here, it was just everything was so different, and that was a pretty big shock to me. It definitely took some getting used to, but still, I'm glad that I'm here now.
Yeah. Despite the fact that you're Japanese, have you ever felt that you're a foreigner here? That you
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in what sense did you feel that?
Well, I guess a very big difference in cultures between here and Australia is there's no hierarchical systems. There's no senpais, there's no kouhais. Even if someone's older than you, yes, you give them respect, but there's no demanding of a role that has to be filled. So when I came here as a first year, I guess everyone expected me to be kind of, a kouhai, do what you're told, do this, that. You shouldn't be like not disrespecting your senpais, but you should be obedient to them. And I guess that didn't sit too right with me. So I was a very outgoing, like individual person, and that kind of rubbed some people wrong, I guess, sometimes. But yeah.
Did you have a feeling like you're losing your identity here? Like you have to behave as everyone?
Well, sometimes yes, but then I also kind of realized along the way, sure, I can do this and do that and try and fit in, or I can just be myself, enjoy it, and then people who want to be around me will be around
me. I see. And I met one Japanese guy. Both his parents were Japanese, but he was born and raised in States. And then at the age of 15, he moved here. And he said that he had a very hard time, even though he spoke like Japanese, but still like at the school, all the integration, like immersion into this environment was very hard for him. Like, have you ever felt this?
Yeah, so in my first year, I definitely struggled coming into school, new environment, being like having expectations for me to act this way and think this way. It was definitely hard for sure. And I know there's a lot of other people who are coming to Japan, and there will always be people in the future that come to Japan who will experience that. But I definitely think that you don't need to, but it's good to open your mind and like have no expectations on what Japan is like and what you should be like as well, and just take everything as it is, and just like enjoy the moment, and don't be thinking too much like, oh, I need to be like this, I need to be like that. Just take it as it is, and you'll definitely enjoy yourself, and you'll struggle less.
Hey, did you see our subscribers? Oh, you are our subscriber. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe button, plus leave the comments so Tokyo State of Mind can create more great content for you. Enjoy your video.
What are the relationships between senpais and kohais? You have to talk in keigo to your senpai.
Okay, so one workaround, I was kind of lucky with that because I couldn't speak much Japanese before I came here, even though my mom, she'd been speaking to me in Japanese like, I guess, my whole life, but I'd always reply in English, so definitely did not know any keigo. But yeah, I came here, and I guess I'd just speak in casual Japanese, or like my 5-year-old Japanese. That was the only Japanese I knew until I studied more. And then eventually I started being able to use it, but then sometimes I would decide not to.
Not to speak keigo?
Yeah, like why? When I could. So I guess I thought, well, especially in rugby, it's important that your team culture, no one's above anyone else. Like if you think like that, the team will probably lose because everyone's got to be on the same page, fighting for the same thing. And if there's people who think they're better than this person or this person in the team, then, that's not going to work in a team environment. So
like the philosophy of the game is that everyone is equal.
Yeah, doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Like once you get on that rugby field, you're just 15 brothers or sisters all together working towards one goal. And yeah, there can't be like any division in the team.
Wow, that's something new actually that I heard. Because another story that I heard, for example, you play badminton, I would say, and you have like a rest time, like QK, and like if you want like to drink a water, you have to wait for your senpais to drink first, and then you can drink. Oh, really? Yeah. Do you have this, like when you go out from the field, like you start like behaving like a kouhai?
Training or just outside of
like training or like outside at the like changing room,
like dorm lifestyle, just regular life. Yeah, so Ichinenses or first years are kind of like the managers of the team, as in like they usually do most, or they're assigned most of the work. Some teams will have female managers to like help them out with that, but my team didn't, so it was mainly just us first years doing all of it. So at the ground, like at training, the first years would bring everything to the training grounds, like get it prepared, pack the tents, like, or get the tents ready, do all the water bottles, like fill all the water bottles up, make sure the balls are pumped, just things like that. And then at the dorm, I remember that was pretty tough actually in my first year. So I was definitely not used to that much housework. We had to do the laundry for our room and like our senpais.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so after every training, because we train every day as well, and we have gym in the morning, field session in the afternoon. So there's that, shirt, pants, like socks.
Really?
Just
like others people too. So
yeah.
Even
so
though it's personal things, like you still have to do it for them.
Yeah. Oh, because we're roommates as well, actually. So there's usually 3 of us in a room. That's also something I thought would be different. I thought we'd be like in rooms by ourselves, or maybe like one other, but it's like 3 of us. And I was like, okay, like, yeah. And yeah, so we'd be doing the washing. That was every night after training, like getting back late. And then we'd also have like kitchen duty. So like we wouldn't have to cook because I think someone might get food poisoning if that happened, but we'd have to clean up, like wash all the dishes of, 100 other people. And then wash all the big pots and
wow, that's so hard.
Wipe it down. But there's definitely a lot of other duties that get given to the first years because they're first years, like because they're kouhais. And that was definitely something I struggled with a little bit.
Yeah, and you've been asking yourself, why should I do that?
Oh yeah, I questioned so hard at times. When I'm washing dishes, I'm like, why am I here? Like, was it worth it? But it was definitely hard.
So, and what kind of mindset did you have when you're like, you had to like accept it, right? Because this is the rule.
Yeah.
And if you want to live here, you should do this. And how did you like accept it?
So I actually didn't deal with it that well. I didn't think I had many support systems or like people to guide me and tell me that, it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be, just get through this year. It'll be done soon. Just keep doing your best. But, so now that I've become a senpai, I guess I'm a 3rd year, I'd like to think that I've been trying to help out the kouhais because I know that it can be hard at times. So, I say like, they don't have to call me, they don't have to put on san, like Sean-san, and, they can treat me as a friend. And like, I try to help out with them, like, at the ground. And like, sometimes even in the kitchen, I'll help out and like, wash a few things. But just trying to help like the next like generation of kouhais, I guess.
I mean, at the same time, your like classmates would look at you like, what are you doing? Why are you treating them like this?
Yeah, well, I'd like to think that I've influenced them as well, like by showing that there's something more important than being because you're a senpai that you should be ordering them around. I think I've been shown by example that you can actually treat them as equal. Like, sure, you're a senpai, but you can still treat them as equal. And if you really are in a team environment, then everyone should be sharing the load, not just the kouhais. So
I see. Wow, that's powerful, I think. And have you ever experienced biased attitude to yourself, like Australian or maybe half Chinese here in Japan?
Oh, so I guess for me though, because I look Japanese, I definitely don't experience it as much as some other people who stand out. Such as my friends back in the dorm who are Fijian, Tongan, New Zealand, from New Zealand. And you can tell straight away that, they're not from here.
Like European look?
Oh, well, like more the opposite, like dark skinned. Yeah, like dark skin. And I'm around them a lot, and I can tell that they definitely do experience that a lot, just from the way that they look, even though they've been, brought up in the same, well, not brought up, but they've come to the university and experiencing the same lifestyle that all of us are, like all the other Japanese boys. But they definitely are. You can see people treat them differently just because of that. And I've experienced it myself as well, a little bit, not to that extent, but as soon as people find out, I was born in Australia, or like they can tell from as soon as I start speaking English, they're like, okay, he's a little bit different. And yeah, definitely you can see attitudes change.
Have you ever pretend that you're speaking like Japanese English?
Oh, as in like I couldn't speak Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, just pull the gaijin card and sumimasen, nihongo wakannai. And you can just get away with some things, I guess.
Nice. That's so fun.
Probably not good, but yeah, sometimes.
I see. And so what advice would you give to foreign people who are willing to come here, and probably they have false expectations about Japan, like idealistic image?
So just keeping an open mind, like I said before, is just so important. Like there's a lot of things that you think it'll be like this and it'll be like that. And if you get here and you think that, I think you might be in for a bit of a shock. And if you keep holding on to that feeling and think, oh no, this is how it should be, this is how it should be, you're going to cause yourself a lot of struggle. So by, I guess, surrendering and accepting what is, and then working off of that, you will definitely give yourself an easier time, and you'll enjoy yourself so much more than if you were just thinking, oh, this is how I used to do things back home. This is how things are back home. Like it should be like this. If you keep thinking that, it's definitely going to be tougher for you. And definitely finding yourself good friends or like a good support network is so important. Because I remember in my first year, I had some foreign senpais who were really good to me. They treated me really well, but I couldn't connect with them as much, and they couldn't really offer me that guidance I would have liked in my first year. So hopefully I'm doing that now for my kouhais. It's definitely important to find people who want the best for you and who want to take care of you.
Well, speaking about support, is it really important to have Japanese friends here? Like, we have international community. You live in international dorm, for example. You have a lot of international friends, but how important is it to have Japanese friends here?
Oh yeah, I think it's such a shame if you don't go out and make Japanese friends. Like, not all Japanese people are just closed-minded and think strange of foreigners. There's definitely people who can add so much value to your life and who you can enjoy their company with. I've met heaps of boys. I've been lucky that I live with 100 of them, all together, and we see each other every day, and that's been really good. Just seeing that there's a good bunch of people that you can just enjoy yourself with and work towards a common goal.
Yeah, that's very powerful. And when you feel down, what brings you back to again work hard and so on? I guess your why, your motivation, it's so important. So mine would be my family and my drive to become the best. But my family is just, I've got photos of them on my wall, next to my bed.
whenever I feel down, I just look at them and just know that, I've got to just keep going hard, keep working hard for them. And I think that's really important, having that intrinsic factor that keeps driving you every day. Because like motivation, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
You might see, say if you want to stay fit, you might see a poster of someone looking really fit and say, oh yeah, like I want to be like them. And you'll go and work hard for maybe a week, a month. But as soon as something gets tough, like the going gets tough, you hit an obstacle, you'll probably stop unless you have that really deep-seated why of why you're doing something. So like if it's your passion, if it's, for something greater than yourself, I think is really important. So your family is like a great factor.
I see. Yeah, that's very beautiful. I can't agree more on that. Thank you so much, Sean, for coming, for sharing your insights on this, and your advices is very good. And so please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, share, comment below, and we will see you next week. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.